Let me clean this. Oh, hey, y'all, hey. I am a tad late, but for good reason. I'm so excited about like everything. So I'm trying to like look on here for this, look on here for that, look for stuff. I'm just really excited, and I'm here, but I'm kind of like slightly unprepared because there was some stuff that I wanted to show and share with you guys that I don't have with me. Let me turn this off because it's always so loud. All right, so how you guys doing? Hey y'all, hey, what's going on? I gotta be able to see who's on there. Nobody just yet. So my excitement today, like I ran out of the house for like nothing of everything. Like it's just crazy. I'm so excited. I received so I did my I-10 to the end in 2021, I want to say. No, in 2022. I did it in August of 22 because it was our national HPG weekend in San Diego. So I was like, oh, that'll be a perfect time to do it. So I'll go down to Jacksonville, XYZ, ZYX, and you know, I did the ride. It was a crazy ride. I just knew it was going to be really, really easy. Because I rode I-10 before. So I'm like, what difference is there going to be? Really, like, you know what I mean? So I just knew that and again, in true Piper form, I did not just do I-10 to the end of social experiment. What I attempted to do, which I was successful, so I was happy I did I-10 to the end, the social experiment, but then I also did the IBA's I-10 to the end, and then I also did the 50cc, which I didn't really plan that out too well. You know, and within all of those rides, there's a SS1000 in it, there's a bum burner in it, and like all of those different things are all encompassed in that ride. So what I didn't think about is so I-10 to the end, I-10 to the end for the IBA is a timed ride. The I-10 to the end social experiment for the Iron Elite, it's just that, a social experiment. So there's a time limit, but it's not as stringent as the IBA. Like, he wants you to go, like, you know, experience this, experience that, have fun, you know, give back feedback and everything else, like for everybody else who's gonna, you know, follow behind you and do that ride, like, you know. So that is what Sarge's social experiment is. Now for the IBA, the I-10 to the end, you have to complete it in 48 hours. And then, so I was doing that one. So that knocked out both of Sarge's and the IBA. But then I was also doing the 50cc, which 50cc is 50 hours coast to coast. Now, I-10 to the end starts in, I forget what, I mean, it starts in Jacksonville, but it's like 25, 35 miles from the beach, which is where the 50cc starts. Like, you have to go beach to beach, like Jacksonville Beach to either San Diego Beach or, hey, I'm gonna get you in a minute. Either so Jacksonville Beach to either San Diego, Santa Monica, like it's beach to beach, like it's coast, like you have to go to the coast. So from the Pacific to the Atlantic. Well, I started the Atlantic to the Pacific, but you get 50 hours to do that. So it's a 50cc. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm already right here. I might as well do it all because I'm going to end in Santa Monica, period, because that's where the 10 ends. So I'm like, I might as well, and I have 48 hours to do that. And then I have 2 additional hours for the 50cc. I met Sarge first. You know, we took our pictures and we talked and I did the interview and stuff. And I'm like, now I'm on the clock. So I had to go backwards to Jacksonville Beach and then go this way. Well, meanwhile, the I-10 to the end is 2 hours shorter than the 50cc. So I should have started at the beach, then met Sarge, and then kept going that way. But oh no, me being Piper and me trying to do too many things at once, I did not do that. Anyway, I say all that to say, I did that in 22, but now since it's grown and like everyone's doing it and like they're, you know, supporting it and they're doing their experience and sharing it with everyone, now there's like all of these packages and stuff. Like you get shirts, inserts, and your card and what your number is. And I was like, hey, I didn't get any of that. So I reached out to Miss D and I sent her my information and she sent the Google form. So anyway, I say this to say what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to show you guys my cert in my little card today. Did I mute me? Thor. Am I still here? I'm still here. I'll have to save that for next Monday so I can share that, which will be like totally cool. So that's one of the things I wanted to share with you. Also, I got my other 2 coins. I was excited about that. That was really cool. And then my shirt, I got a special shirt that I wanted to share too. So that's why I was like, I'm prepared, but I'm not prepared because I wanted to share all that stuff with you. But hi, sisters. How you guys doing? Today is going to be a very special show because I'm going to bring my sister, Hot Wheels Rachel, on. And it was so crazy. Like I wanted to, oh, and I didn't even find out about that. I want to say, I noted that, hey, quick question, Alice. Did the raffle happen for the prizes?
It did. It wasn't like a raffle, but they like mixed up the entries, you know, like the papers. They printed out all the registrations, mixed them up, drew names, boom, prize.
Oh, so is it listed who got what, like how it went? Because I told
There, oh man, I think there's like some live videos or something on the WOW page or something for that. So they just need to check that out, and then she's gonna mail out the prizes. So there was like connectivity issues, so she had to like create a couple of extra live videos to continue on because they were outside. They lost power down there. So
oh, so man,
mhm.
well at least that's exciting. So all this stuff went out. So that's really good. That's really good. So I was like, man, and when it dawned on me, I was like, it's June the 2nd. I was like, I missed it. I was like, I missed stuff. So that was crazy. But so speaking of Black Wall Street, so today's episode is what not to do when you're
Hey.
outside. And not that it was our fault, but unfortunately, me and this beautiful woman right here have something in common from Black Wall Street, other than being ambassadors and speakers and supporting it, everything else, like the unspoken
Oh man.
happen. And I don't know if it's everybody else's fear, but I don't see how it isn't. But then again, some people don't ride at night. But then again, it doesn't even have to happen at night. So I will say, unfortunately, now mine happened going, hers happened leaving. And I mean, when she called me, because she called to check to see if I had made it in, I said, "Oh, I'm almost there, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Did you get back?" And she was like, "Oh man." I was like, "What do you mean? Oh man, you didn't get back?" She was like, "Well," and I was like, "So you know I'm riding." I'm like waiting to hear. And then she said this.
I hit a deer.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Shut your mouth. Because I hit a deer. And so now I kind of look for pictures of elk. So I don't know that it was necessarily an elk, because elk, they all had the horns,
Yes,
right? So
they're huge.
so this thing, they weren't, the animal itself was huge, but so in all my searching for elk, they're not brown like deer. They're not that ambery,
Yeah.
that orangey ambery color.
Yeah.
They're more like gray or like dirty brown, gray, blacky, like, you know what I mean? So my animal was not that color. My animal was like caramelly, like. So it must just been a fat old man deer or a big mama deer.
Oh
I
gosh.
don't know, but it wasn't.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what happened with yours? Like, what happened?
Well, okay, so I was leaving Tulsa because I was trying to go to accident scene management training the next day. And that was in Sioux Falls. So my route took me directly north on State Highway 75.
Look at your boo-boo.
Yeah, you guys want to see it? Let me show you. Don't freak out. Don't nobody freak out. It looks better. Don't nobody.
So you know I'm a picker. So I would just be like trying to.
That's it was a blister.
Mine are gone, but I had those.
Yeah.
And my bruises are still there on my leg. So okay, so you were going to accident
scene management. And that was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I was halfway there. So it was like between 8:45 and 9, really dusky, and I was feeling really good. Like it was just kind of chill, straight lane highway. I mean, it was just one shot all the way, okay? And I'm about 250 miles away. It said that I'd get there about 1 a.m. or so. So I thought maybe I might pull over, you know, within 100 miles if I felt like it was too dangerous, too cold or whatever. And I had just pulled off in Topeka and put on my jacket. I put on my gloves and everything and had did that. And I accidentally stayed there an hour because I was looking for something. I was looking for my charger. So I had dumped out everything in my bag and I was like looking for this. So I accidentally stayed in Topeka an hour, which was way longer than I wanted to. I just wanted to pull over, get some McDonald's real quick, charge up and get back on the road, you know, put my jacket on. And that's just not what happened. And by the time I got to this small town, I mean, it was pretty rural after that point from Topeka. And I was 19 miles south of this town called Sabetha, Kansas. And that's where the incident happened. And I was out there pretty much by myself up until the incident happened. Then everybody eventually caught up to me. And they see this wild woman like walking on the road and this motorcycle flashing emergency flashers. And what I remember is that I probably had my cruise. No, I had my cruise on at that point, but it was set to 70 and the speed limit was 65. And I was out there by myself. I see the deer and I'm like, man, she's like right in my lane. Are you going to move? She doesn't move. I try to veer to the back end and go into the opposite lane because there's no oncoming traffic. And I just barely I got her butt. She tried to move right when I got on her.
So you were one lane this way, one lane that way. Your deer was coming left to right.
She was coming left to right, and she was standing in my lane. It was like a deer in headlights moment. So I must have blinded her, but she saw me. And I tried to go around her, behind her, and veer into the opposite lane. And I hit her butt. I hit her butt. She goes off into the brush. My bike lays down on the left side. So now I'm sliding forward horizontally in my lane, and the only thing I can see is sparks flying, and I'm like, no, 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 no. And I stayed on the motorcycle somehow. I stayed on the motorcycle, and I come to a stop. I hop up and I start picking up stuff. I'm picking up like my lights. I find my phone. Phone had popped out of the holder.
He said you just wanted
Gorilla Blue talking about sausages. No, I don't nobody want no sausages. So that was the bad thing.
I definitely didn't want no sausage.
No, because she did not die. I had to tell the sheriff, hey, like, she's still alive up there. She's trying to like get up, but she can't. And he thought, well, no, she'll be dead in a little while. No. So he ended up
screaming, like no, can you hear her?
No noise. So what happened? Once the bike stopped sliding, I got up. I start walking back up the side of the road, and I'm picking up some debris and things. And I just kind of was looking for her, but the brush was like three foot tall. You know, it's like kind of a little bit of a steep drop on the sides of the road, and then there's this brush. And I was like, well, I can't see her. Maybe she went away. So I walked up just a little bit further, and I turned on my flashlight, and sure enough, there she is. She's like trying to kick and get up. She's not making any noise at all. And he did have to go and put her down. And so these two men, so they pulled out.
So he had to shoot her?
He had to
shoot
her. Yeah, he had to shoot her. She was still alive like 30 minutes after. Yeah. So these two gentlemen that were heading in the same direction, you know, the traffic light caught up on both sides, right? So these two ladies on the opposite side of the road, they pull over. They're super freaked out, and they're like trying to talk to me, and I'm like, no, okay, I'm okay, I'll figure it out, you know. And they just probably think that I'm out of it, you know. Like this lady,
I'm telling you, the lady kept telling me that same thing. She's like, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine. I was like, you gotta move this bike. You gotta move this bike. And she was just like, but are you okay? I was like, I'm fine. I said, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like touching myself. I'm like, you know, my hands were swollen, and they bruised like instantly, like, you know, and but thank goodness. It's so crazy because at first I didn't have my gloves on. I don't always wear my gloves because they're half gloves. I'm just like, and I'm trying to like push stuff on the phone, trying to do my GPS, trying to do like all of these different things. I'm like, I don't even need gloves, but I literally, because it was raining, I put the gloves on because my hands get, you know, like on your handlebars, your hands turn black. Like, you know what I mean? And so I put the gloves back on, but I had just taken my GoPro off because my little door, I have to wedge open to charge it. I was like, my battery's gonna be all messed up. So I took it off, and I literally just put it in my pocket, and I'm just going, and I came around that bend, and it was like,
I think I messed up too, because like I didn't even have my high beams on. Like I was just like so relaxed out there, you know. I probably should have turned my high beams on. And if I think about it more, like in that situation when you're by yourself in a rural area, you probably want to go under the speed limit. I don't know. That would be my suggestion after all of this.
Girl.
But
when you're out there by yourself,
I know,
and the music
at least
on,
until somebody catches up to you, maybe. You know, maybe in this situation, until somebody catches up to you so you can draft off of them. I mean, this was like a pretty remote area. You know, it's hit or miss. It's a risk either way. Like, I don't regret anything. Like, I'm cool, whatever. I'm excited to get back riding and things like that. But the people that called the sheriff were these two gentlemen who caught up to me, and then they pulled over, and they're from Texas, and they just probably thought I was like real crazy too. And these other two ladies on the other side just were baffled. And they finally like, rode away.
Yes. Like, who are you with? Like, where's everyone else? And I'd be like,
Yep. I'm like, it's me, just me by myself, you know. And they called the sheriff after. I think they asked me like 5 times, are you good? You know, what are you gonna do with your bike? And I'm like, it's okay, I'll figure it out. I'll just leave it and I'll fly home. And they're like,
I never want to leave my bike. I never want to leave it. I never, ever, 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 never want to leave it. I was like, if this thing turns on and starts, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Like, so and then it's so crazy because again, it was raining, I was on
Yeah.
triple nickel. I was at the end of the triple nickel because I
Yeah.
was headed to the barbecue place. And so it was just remote. It was Highway 22 and
Yeah.
one lane this way, one lane that way. Like I said, I had just taken the GoPro off because it was still
Yeah.
raining. And
Yep.
so I put the GoPro in my pocket. And what was so crazy is like I had the shark helmet, which is that
Yep.
full 360.
That your
So,
3/4.
and
Yep.
and it was so nice outside. Like it was. I mean, I hate the fact that it was raining, but my mask always like fogs up, so I had it back,
Yeah.
and it was like this misty, like ooh, like the smoke was like coming up,
Yeah.
and I'm just like really enjoying it. And then I swear, and all I could hear in my ear was, "Don't mess up my bike. Don't mess up my bike." I came around that curve, and that damn deer was just standing there,
Hanging out.
and it was in my lane, and
Yep.
my deer was going from the right to the left, and
Okay.
and so since my mask was open, I'm like really screaming at it as if it speaks English. I'm like, "What you gonna do?" I was like, "Come on!" I was like, "Come on!"
Like he can hear you. He can understand.
I'm
That's
just screaming. But then again, he might have understood something because then he took 2 steps backwards. He took like the big thing took 2 steps backwards, and I'm like, okay, cool. So that's when I, like you, tried to go in the other lane to go around the deer, but my deer was facing where I was trying to go around, where your deer, the butt was there, and if your deer would have kept walking and you went around, you could have cleared yours.
I could have cleared it. It was so close,
My deer was like he didn't know if he wanted to walk back.
Yeah.
Like, and I really, like, hindsight, I had already started downshifting to like stop, but when he started to walk backwards, I'm like, oh cool, like the lane's open. So and there was no one out there. There's no one out. I want to go around. And it's so crazy because as I got closer and went to go around, that's when he charged, and his one eye was just looking at both of mine. Like I was like we were just eye to eye, and I'm just and I was like, what you do that? And like we hit, and like he went down or she went down. I'm telling you, it was a big fat fatty. Went down on like all fours, and like I said, because I was in this lane coming back around, the bike tilt.
Yep.
So I was already in the tilt, and so when he ran, the bike just went to the side. So it went down on the right side. It started sliding to the left. I was holding it for a little bit, and I was like, I just let it go, and I started rolling in my head. I was like, Piper and the wheels on the bus go round and round. Because I kept rolling. I was rolling so much, but I was out there by myself, but I could see the bike sparking because the house peg was digging into the ground, and it just kept going, but it was pitch freaking black. But as I'm rolling, I start seeing a light, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get ran over. I'm gonna get ran over. So now I'm like praying, like, stop rolling, stop rolling, stop rolling. Like I didn't want to roll anymore. Like, I just wanted to stand up, like, and get the hell out the way. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So then they teach you once you stop to hit the ground to make sure that you actually stop, because you ever see some people try to stand up, then they start doing cartwheels because the moment. Girl,
you're not supposed to, but I didn't do a cartwheel, but it was just like I was very like dizzy. I don't know. I just started picking up stuff.
Threw you off your equilibrium. So I stood up, and then I got to the shoulder because I saw like the lights, but she was driving, and then she stopped. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And let me keep rolling. And then like when I stood up and started like walking around, she like inched closer. She's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, did you see it? I was like, where did it go? Where did it go? And she was just pointing. I was like, oh, she was like,
man, yeah.
I was like, very good rolling, like, and that madam was like, okay, but she said, I saw your reflector because I had my raincoat on. And, the bar and shield is a big reflector, and I guess like the ribbon, like, you know what I mean? And so like she got out, and she was a little lady. She had to be like 5'3", maybe 86 pounds. Like, I promise you, like, she was little. And so I walked over to, and so I have Life 360. So I didn't have my phone, obviously, because I disconnected from the bike, but my watch is going off. It's like I can just hear it. It's like
Message, message, message. Yeah.
I'm trying to like hit my watch. Like, oh my God, I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to find the phone. Then I get over to the bike and it's just on. It's
Yep.
on the little crash bar, and I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at it. So I pick it up. You know what I mean? Like when you first lay a bike on this crash
Yeah.
bar, it's not all the way over. So I picked
Yeah.
it up from all the way over to the crash bar. Then I'm trying to push it and I can't get, and that's when I feel like my wrist still right now is still
Tender.
like a little tender. And so I was like, ooh, and then she was like, can you pick it up? I was like no, like I
Yeah.
can't get it. So she came
Yeah.
over and she had the front and I had the back. And I was like, I'm gonna take the heavy
Yeah.
part. You come back here. So we're trying to push, and then we get it up and we're trying to like get it out the lane. And by this time it's her and I, and then a car. And we were out there long. This is how desolate this road is. Like one more little car came that way, and a man came out, and she was like, she just headed there. She just headed there because she kept saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like, let's just get this bike. And so her and I stand the bike up, put on the kickstand, and you know that the ELT or the EPT comes on the thing, and like I'm just like, oh my God. So I turn it off, and then now I see my phone, which is buried under the bike, and it's ringing. Little mom is calling. Seniors calling. Like I'm just like, oh my goodness. And country's calling. I'm just like trying to answer. I'm like, little mom, I gotta call you back. I was like, I'm okay. And then when I answered for country, I was like, everybody, I was like, the lady's here and the man's here. He's trying to help me. And he thought I was with other people. I was like, I gotta call you right back. Like I'm in the middle of the street. Like I gotta call you right back. And then like my suit is all ripped and my little pants and my button was scraped. And I'm just like, Sabrina Joe, what happened? And then she just sitting up there like, I'm just a motorcycle. What you mean what happened? Like, you know? And I'm just like, I'm trying to push it and it will not go. But then the bike started. But when I tried to like give it throttle, it kept, you know, like how when you get your bike towed and they pull it down on the forks and the front. So it just kept going down on the forks going. I was like, oh my God, like what is going on? Then the man's like, oh, maybe the fender. He pulled it apart and we're like filling around to make sure it's not touching the wheel. And it didn't seem like it. But every time I tried to go, it didn't go. Then so happened an ambulance came. Thank God, because when I tell you, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face aside from these lights. So they turned on all their lights around the side. They're like, do you want us to check it? I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I was like, I just really want to get the bike out the way. Because now more cars are like starting to come. There still was only like 3. And I
Let me see. We might have lost her for a second. There we go. Unmute. Can't hear you. Can you hear me? We can't hear you. Hit your microphone. Unmute your microphone. Let me share it to my page. Hold on, make sure it's on there. Can you hear me, Piper? You're muted. Okay. Piper's trying to fix it, guys. Oh, okay. So I'm to the point now where I hit the deer. I tried to avoid hitting the deer by heading to the left side of her, and I did not, unfortunately, miss her, and so hit her in the butt. She went over the edge of the road, and then I slide. The sheriff said I slid 30 feet. And all I could see in that moment was just a bunch of sparks. So that was a little freaky because you hit the deer, you're sliding horizontally in your lane. I didn't drift to the other side. I pretty much drifted to the median, which is where the bike ended up stopping. And then two families on the oncoming traffic side stopped. And then I had two guys and their families, they stopped up ahead of the bike. They saw the flashing lights and all that kind of stuff and saw me like wandering around. And they were kind enough to call the sheriff. The sheriff got there within a few minutes, and the three gentlemen were able to pick the bike up. I thought it was not going. I picked up some lights and debris that had fallen off, found my phone, so I was able to call mom and dad and just give them the update. And it started right up. It fired right up. I couldn't believe it. I mean, the windshield I had just put on a brand new windshield and a brand new set of pipes on Wednesday. Rode to Tulsa. 2 days later, hit the deer. They couldn't believe I was out there by myself and that, I'm just riding in the middle of the night. And the officer said that highway has about 150 animal accident deaths a year. So it's pretty often, I think. And the next town was Sabetha, Kansas. And, I asked him, like, what should I do? And he's like pleading with me, like, don't continue on. Don't go any further. It's going to get really, really bad the further north that you go. And my mom's like, please be reasonable. Listen to the officer. Don't go. And I just wanted to get to my class. I wanted to do saddle sore. And I just had to come to the conclusion, like, hey, safety, we're just gonna call it. It's not worth it. We'll just get to the next town. I asked him, if he could follow me. He goes, yeah, like, this is my county. It was 19 miles to the next town. And there's like so much wildlife. And I think because it's got so much dense like grass, they can hide, they can forage for food. And so just a few minutes up the road, no sooner than we get going, here's a fox trying to cross the road. I go the speed limit. I don't feel any shaking or anything like that. The handlebars are just a little offset, just a smidge. Obviously the crash bars are offset. I have no highway pegs anymore. My headlight 100% not even damaged. All of my headlight worked, and all of my rear signal markers, like I had brake lights, I had signals, and I also had just put on some hand guards, and in my hand guards they have signal markers in there. Now they were burnt to a crisp, but the lights, the LED lights, were fully functional. So I had all the signals, and the officer was like totally cool with me, riding up to the next town. And we pull into the gas station, turned it on and off. There's no fork seal leaks. There's no other leaks anywhere else, nothing. No smoke coming out of the exhaust. And he's like, okay, let's get to the hotel. You can't, let's just cut it. You're not going anywhere. Like, it's going to get really bad. And I was like, okay. So I did stay the night there in this little town. And I woke up pretty gingerly the next morning, like just whenever I wanted to, checked out at like 11:30. And I did not get any medical treatment because I felt like I was okay, you know. Just a little couple of boo-boos, no big deal. And I left about 11:30 the next day, so made it home. It was quite the adventure. That was a 700-mile ride back home. So, and it ran great. It ran great, like no issue, you know. It was awesome. But so yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Her microphone is not allowing us to hear her, guys, so just bear with us. It just shows that you're muted. I don't know how to unmute you. She said it's on her side. What about, are you on your computer? Is it your sound control? Maybe something's muted there. Reef said it's the bootleg iPhone. No, it isn't. Okay. She says she's not muted. Am I muted? I am muted. Piper can hear me. Let me show you this picture. It's a someone said laryngitis. It is not laryngitis. Um Comments on this is what it looks like when I'm looking at you. I don't know if that worked or not. Probably not. Hold on.
Can't hear you either. Now you're muted.